Hi, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I finally listened to our podcast episodes and I see how low the goddamn audio is. First of all, my microphone has a little like meter thingy-majiggy on it, right? And when the noise gets too loud on the microphone, the light goes from green to orange to red, okay? And I have been under the impression for over a fucking year of having this microphone that we don't want to go into the orange zone. We don't want to go into the yellow fucking zone. Turns out, we do. Turns out you can't hear me worth a damn. So shout out to every single person who has been listening to this podcast, like a loyal fucking listener of this goddamn podcast, and the audio is so low. Like, no, like you really are that bitch for real. Okay, like, let me just give you a moment to give you your flowers. You've been listening to this fucking podcast. Listen, the energy is good. The energy is great. The energy is amazing. The words that I say are wonderful. It's incredibly helpful and powerful and valuable. Like, I get it. I understand why you would listen. But personally, I hate listening to shit and the volume is too fucking low. I have it all the way up and I still cannot fucking hear you. It agitates me. And I just, I listened to the audio just now in the bathroom and I screamed out loud, fucking furious. So anyway, we're done with that. I'm here, I'm loud, and it's even more embarrassing because if you know me, you know I'm loud as fuck. Like, if you know me, you know I'm loud as fuck. The other day I was talking to my mom in the kitchen and she literally was like, "Can you stop screaming at me?" Like, if you know me, you know I'm loud as fuck. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not want it to be too loud. I didn't want there to be some weird fucking mic feedback. I'm sorry. And this is total Mercury retrograde and Virgo thing, where Mercury retrograde isn't always about a negative thing, especially not in fabulous Virgo, because Virgo is all about attention to details, making things better one day at a time, showing up, taking consistent action towards your goals. And Mercury retrograde is an opportunity to look back over things. Mercury retrograde is the perfect opportunity to become aware of things that you weren't aware of before. It's the perfect opportunity to see things in a different way. So Mercury retrograde in Virgo is a really, really great, wonderful opportunity to clean some stuff up. So we're going to clean up the audio of our podcast. Now, technically, you're not due for another episode until Monday, but I listened to that audio. I screamed out loud and I knew that I had to do something. I had to take action. I couldn't go another fucking day with that being the latest, the most recent episode, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't do it. So we're here now. Now, today's episode is inspired by a tweet that I saw. And the tweet says, "I don't like networking because I hate transactional relationships and would rather not use people as stepping stones to get where I want. But if that's literally the only way of getting there, then unfortunately, ... right? So I love this, and it's something that I could talk about forever and ever and ever. Today, we are having a discussion about networking. How to be a good networker, the attitude that you want to approach your relationships so that networking is easier for you and it's better for you. And trust me, I know this, I understand this because I have lived on both sides of those coins. Before we get any further, I have to tell you who I am in a way that you can actually hear me very clearly. My name is Natalie Hughes. I'm a life mindset and manifestation coach in my business, and on my platform, my job, my intention, my purpose is to support professional women in co-creating lives that are emotionally fulfilling and purpose driven. I want you to be happy. I want you to be satisfied. I want you to be satiated in every single aspect of your life. If you're trailblazing in your career, if you are trailblazing by being the generational curse breaker in your family line, if you are trailblazing by owning more real estate, investing in more properties, if you are trailblazing by creating generational wealth, my job is to help you do what it is that you've come here to do and to help you get all that you have come here for. So let's jump into today's episode. So there's a misconception here. And first, I feel compelled to tell you a story. So years ago, maybe a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, whatever, I found this business coach. And this business coach, she's all about Instagram, right? Instagram strategy, helping online service providers find clients. And a big strategy of hers was engaging with people, engaging with them online, reaching out to them, connecting with them through the DMs, right? How do I convert conversations in the DMs into sales? And her talk, the way that she taught was she was always talking about going out there and basically connecting with people and building relationships. Now, a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I could not handle that. I could not take that because I didn't feel safe around human beings. I perceived human beings, I perceived women as a threat to me. This is after a childhood experience of backstabbing, of betrayal in friendships, betrayal from authority figures, betrayal from parents, betrayal from siblings, betrayal from caregivers, right? So if you're somebody like me, or you're somebody who in general has experienced negative shit in your relationships and you have not processed that, then that's going to impact your desire. It's going to impact your willingness to get out there and to network. So if you're somebody who has social anxiety, if you're somebody who feels self-conscious, you're afraid that people are going to judge you, you're afraid that people aren't going to like you, you're afraid that people aren't going to receive you well. If you are somebody like me, and you have had a life experience where it seems like people are committed to misunderstanding you, okay? If you're somebody like me, then you can't ever say the right fucking thing, okay? And this is like my past experience. Obviously, I always say the right thing and I'm perfect and I am made in God's image and, you know, I'm not inherently fucking broken, so I'm good. But if you are somebody who is like me and you have experienced that interpersonal trauma, that relationship trauma, pain in relation to other people that has not been processed and moved through, then this idea and concept of networking becomes infinitely more complicated. And then it becomes more complicated when you start looking at it as a transactional thing, as a means to an end. I've got to go and connect with these people, but I'm going to be focused on the sale. I'm going to go and connect with these people, but really I'm focused on getting to my next level. I'm focused on getting to my next position. I'm focused on getting to my next blah, 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 blah. Then it stops feeling authentic because you're approaching it with that particular end goal in mind. And so then you start feeling a little bit phony. You start feeling a little bit weird. You start feeling a little bit like, you know, are people gonna see right through me? And then there's just like 1,000,001 different questions, but this is normal. And a majority of people in the world, I haven't done a fucking study on it, so I don't know, but just based off of observation, I understand that this is a very common experience. A lot of people in the world have that fear of being inauthentic, that fear of appearing inauthentic, and it can also create that anxiety that other people in the world are also inauthentic. How many times did I have an experience where somebody was coming to me, reaching out to me in business, and you just kind of question, like, are you here because you care about me as a person? Or are you here because you're seeing me as a sale? Are you here because you're seeing me as a means to an end? And this is going to heal all of that shit. Well, this is going to help you get to the other side of all of that shit. Number one, you're getting your next raise, you're getting your next promotion, you're getting to where you want to be in your career, in your income, because you are. You're reaching your goal because you are. That's who you are. That's what you do. That's what's happening. That is what it is, right? So if you're having a life experience where you are the woman who reaches her goal, you are the woman who makes $30,000 every single month, no matter what, one way or another, there's $30,000 that is moving into your bank account, that is moving into your investments, that is moving into your savings, however it is that you're doing that, there is $30,000 that's coming into your account every single month, no matter what. If your goal is to be the CFO of that company, you are the CFO of that company. You were made to be the CFO of that company. There is no reality. There is no experience where you don't become CFO. There is no reality. There is no experience where you aren't making $30,000 a month in your business. Your identity is aligned with your goal. Reaching your goal is who you are, okay? So you are the person that reaches that goal. That is inevitable. That is your destiny. That is a transformation that is already underway. That's not something you even have to think about. That's not something you have to even focus on, because it's who you are and it's how you move, and it's embedded in your energy, it's embedded in your DNA, and it comes naturally to you. It's who I am. Of course it comes naturally to me. Making money comes naturally to me because that's who I am. I'm a woman who makes money, right? So we're creating an identity that says my desire is mine. And this is really important, because when my desire is my desire and there's nothing that can fuck with my desire, I then become really unfuckwittable. And so there's a certain level of insecurity and fear that I just do not have to deal with anymore, because, hey, if I show up and I am my genuine, authentic self and everybody fucking hates me, I wouldn't love the experience, but who really gives a shit? Because I make $30,000 a month, and that's all that I really fucking care about, right? That's my goal. I make $30,000 a month no matter what. I make $30,000 a month even when I piss people off. I make $30,000 a month even when people don't like me. I make $30,000 a month even when people hate my fucking guts. I make $30,000 a month even when people get their pitchforks and they rally together and form an angry mob and come to my house and try to burn it down. I make $30,000 a month no matter what. That's who I am. That's what I do. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So when you're the woman who is the CFO, when you're the woman who is in that higher level position, when you're the woman who is at that next level of income, and that's who you are, and that won't change. That's who you are. That's in your DNA. That's who you are. That's what you were made for. And your time is now, period, point blank. When you have that experience, it doesn't matter who doesn't like you. So you're no longer having a life experience where this person is a means to an end, because the end is already done, because I'm already there. So all the people who need to like me are going to like me. All the people who need to vote for me to get a promotion are going to vote for me. All of the people who need to agree to assign me as partner in this firm, they're going to agree to it, because this is who the fuck I am. So I don't have to worry about, what if they don't like me? What if I say the wrong thing? Because this is who the fuck I am, right? So now you're at a place where you're creating confidence, where you've created confidence in the accomplishment of your goal. You've created confidence in yourself. You've created confidence in your ability to achieve your goal. The goal is done. So now, what is networking? Networking is community. Networking is relationships. Networking is community and relationships. That's it. Networking is community and relationships. So when you're approaching this, you don't have to approach people as if they're a means to an end when the end is already done. I don't have to be strategic with who I talk to and who I meet, because if I need to meet you and you need to like me, then I consider us already met, and I consider us already best friends. Like there's nothing more to say about it. It's very similar to like a conversation of like in-laws, which, how can I say this? I don't have all of the time in the world. This is technically a bonus episode, so I'm trying to go a little bit quick. And also I want to go to the store to get hot Cheeto Puffs and a pina colada icy. So that's my biggest priority right now, okay? It is the weekend. Okay, so conversations about like in-laws. I'm a Scorpio, so I'm controlling. I can't control it. It's who I am. I'm also the creator of my reality. So when I think about my future and I'm setting intentions for what I want, I'm thinking about everything. I don't just think about my future husband. I think about my legacy. I think about the future of my lineage. I think about my family. I think about my in-laws and what that relationship dynamic will be like, can be like, what I am expecting, right? And so there's a lot of women in the world who are all like, oh my God, my relationship with my mother-in-law is the worst thing in the world. My mother-in-law undermines my authority and my mother-in-law treats me like shit and my husband doesn't do anything and blah, 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 right? And that's a totally real experience, totally valid for you. None of my business. I don't know anything about that lifestyle because my mother-in-law loves me so incredibly much. Like I literally have had dreams of her. But that's not the point here. The point that I'm making is actually a point that I forgot. Hold on. My brain went in too many directions. Hold on. Let me bring it back. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about connections. We're talking about assumptions. Oh, when I think about my mother-in-law, I think about somebody who loves me. I have not met that woman before in my life, but when I do meet her, I'm not going to walk up to her going, oh my God, I hope that she likes me. I'm so nervous. What if she thinks I'm the worst person in the world? What if she treats me terribly? I'm not approaching it like that because I see myself as somebody who was made to be loved, and family is so incredibly important to me. And I'm also somebody who I just kind of have an experience. I want to talk about astrology because I've been focusing on astrology so much, but I won't. I've always had an experience where with my friends, my close friends, we hang out a lot. I go over their house a lot. Their family becomes my family. So I'm already somebody who knows that experience of becoming so close with another person and then like calling their parents mom and dad and all of that stuff. That's just who I am as a person. So it really just makes sense to me. But again, all of this is rooted in my identity. I see myself as a woman who is able to create a sense of belonging in different places. I approach new people. I approach new situations under the assumption that I'm going to be loved, under the assumption that I'm going to be accepted, under the assumption that I'm going to be adored, honestly, because that's who I am and that's what I do. And all of this is my identity. That is my self-perception. That is how I see myself. So there's community. Networking is just about community. It's not a means to an end. I want to know who you are as a person. I want to develop a closeness with you as a person. I want to develop an understanding of you as a human being. I want to go deeper than surface level with you. I want to form genuine, authentic connection with you. And it's so interesting because I was so terrified of human beings. I thought that I had the worst relationship with human beings. I was the type of person who, if I felt like Shrek, okay? I had the Shrek disease. I suffered from it chronically, terminally. And what that means is being an ogre. What it means to be an ogre is that, the movie Shrek, one person gets upset, next thing you know, there's a fucking angry mob and they're outside of his house and he's like, get the fuck out of my swamp. Like, what is going on here? It's so easy for people to come against Shrek. It's so easy for people to think negative things about Shrek. And if one person is insulted by Shrek, then everybody is fucking insulted by Shrek and they're ready to kill the MF. So that has been my life experience. I insult one person, I insult the entire group of people and everybody fucking hates me and nobody wants to see me succeed, right? That has been my life experience many, many, many times over. So as a consequence of that trauma, I really shied away from human beings. I really, really ran away from human beings. I avoided human beings. I hid from human beings. I subconsciously sabotaged myself in my business by not allowing myself to be seen and to be known because I was so afraid of being attacked. It's a protective mechanism, right? So once you've healed that and once you've moved through that, I realized, oh my God, I am my father's daughter. So my father was a man, yes, and he was an Aries. And this man, he was an Aries sun, Virgo moon. I can't remember. He has like Mercury and Taurus. Yes, he did sing. And I don't know what the fuck his rising sun was. And I don't remember the rest of his chart. But basically, my father and my mother, they're really charismatic people. So I remember having experiences as a kid where as like a teenager where I'm like with my father, we're like in 7-Eleven or something, and he's like talking and like flirting with the lady behind the fucking counter, and this bitch is like giggling and all this shit, and I'm just like, can we fucking go? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why? My father was just somebody who never met a stranger. There was just this like really personable energy about him, something about him that really made people let their guards down and like all of this stuff. So he was like a really, really like just people fucking person, right? So I realized like I am my parents' daughters and like my parents' daughter, yes. And so the other day I was in, what store was I in? I was in Smart and Final. This like a couple weeks ago. And the woman at the checkout at Smart and Final, she had this cup, like a tumbler cup. It wasn't a Stanley cup, but it was like, I think they call it tumbler cups. You know what I'm saying? And so she had this cup and it had a whole bunch of like characters on it, like Jason, the motherfucker from Friday the 13th. I don't know if that's Jason. I don't give a fuck either. It had like Freddy Krueger. It had like the bitch from Scream. Like, you know what the fuck I'm saying? Like it had Ghostface Killer. Is that his name? I'm really not a horror buff, okay? It was like a whole bunch of like horror characters on it. And so I asked this woman, what's her favorite horror movie? And so then we start talking about horror and we're like forming this connection, not like we're becoming best friends, but we're forming a connection that's taking us past acquaintances, because now we're talking about the things that we like and the things that we enjoy. And I don't particularly like horror, but one thing that I do like is those videos that are really popular. I think they were popular around Halloween time last year. I don't remember, but it was like, I was going to say Vines. It was like TikTok videos and shit where there's like, is his name Jason? The one in the movie, it's Halloween. Halloween is the title of the movie. And he doesn't fucking die. Like, he'll be like in a house. The house will fucking blow up in flames. And all of a sudden there's a Halloween 5. You know what the fuck I'm saying? So it's like he chases people and he kills people, but he walks at the slowest motherfucking pace. He does not run. And so there's like this like challenge that people were doing online where they're seeing if they can run to the house and unlock the front door before Jason gets them, because people are watching the videos. They're like, this motherfucker does not run. How is he killing all these people? And so you watch the videos and it's hilarious because the people are running. They're booking it to the front door and they're getting the fucking keys and shit to get inside, and none of them make it inside before Jason gets them, okay? And if his name isn't Jason, then pretend it is for the purposes of this conversation. So I'm telling her about the videos and we're laughing about it. So it's like, I don't have a connection to horror in the way where I'm like, oh my God, I love horror / slinging slasher. Like, oh my God, yes. But I like humor. And there's a way that we can connect on this based on her interest and based on my interest. And so we're forming this connection, and she's saying she's going to go look this thing up online. This woman is not somebody that becomes one of my clients or anything like that, but this is somebody that I have successfully accomplished a sort of connection with. So if I were to go to that Smart and Final again and I were to see her, we would have something to talk about. We would have something to go back and forth about. And that's networking. It's developing relationships with people. It's developing connection with people. Networking is something that like people observed other human beings doing, and then from that observation they wrote it down and said, oh, that guy did this and this and this, so if you want to be successful you should be this and this and this. And when things get a little bit too hyper masculine, they get a little bit too calculated, it starts feeling stuffy. It starts feeling like something that you have to do this in order to get this end result, and that starts feeling like there's a lack of authenticity. But connection and network, it's feminine. It's feminine. As women, we are wired for connection. As women, in our brains, we have this thing called mirror neurons, which is really, really important for empathy. So when we are seeing somebody who is experiencing pain or hurt, our mirror neurons are something that's going to really take a part in us really understanding and mirroring back those feelings and emotions. It's like when you're, when you have a baby and your baby is crying, your baby is really upset, and you're like, oh my God, are you feeling upset because of this and this and this? It plays a part in your ability to put yourself in another person's shoes. And so it's really important for that connection. And I have observed myself. It's like, that experience where when you hang out with somebody for a certain period of time and you start becoming like that person, I have observed myself. I have felt my face do certain things that people who I spend a lot of time around do. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the mirror neuron thing. It's, well, partially at least a mirror neuron thing. It's a connection thing. We hang around people, we understand people, and we become like the people that we surround ourselves with because we are connected to them and we connect with them through similarities. So when you're networking, it's no longer a means to an end because you've created a sense of confidence in your goal. That's your identity. That's who you are. And now you get to walk through the world seeking love and connection with human beings. You want genuine, authentic connection with human beings. And when you have genuine, authentic connection with human beings, when opportunity arises, when somebody in community needs something, now there's the availability to experience interdependence. Oh my God, you need somebody who is really good at working cash registers for this event that you're doing at Halloween Horror Nights. I know somebody that Halloween Horror Nights working there would be right up their alley because they're not terrified of the characters. In fact, they love horror. I am somebody who knows people and who has connections in the entertainment industry. That is a real conversation that I could have. I'm going to mention this person who I know something about, who I have that love and that connection with, even if we're not incredibly close. And that's what networking is. Networking is just community. Networking is just building the opportunity to experience interdependence. Okay? I'm building connection with other people. I'm letting people know who I am. I am building connection with another human being. And then in the future, if that person has an opportunity, they're going to think of me. They're going to know that about me. They're going to know something personal about me, and they're going to reach out to me for that. I'm not convincing somebody to like me. I'm not pretending to be somebody that I'm not. I'm not hiding aspects of myself so that somebody will look favorably upon me. I am not trying to be, the kind of girl that somebody else likes, so that way they're going to whatever. No, I like myself. I love myself. I accept myself. I know that I'm good enough. I know that I was made to reach my goals and my desires. So I don't have to pretend to be something that I'm not. And if a person is not going to vibe with me, if I'm not compatible with that person, that's okay. Everybody doesn't have to like me. I don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. But regardless of who likes me and who doesn't like me, that goal is mine. So there's no pressure on me to perform. There's no pressure on anybody else to like me. The goal is mine regardless. The sales are mine regardless. So I want to know who you are as a person. I want to understand you. I want to understand your desires. I want to understand your needs. Even in business, when you're doing sales or you're signing clients, it doesn't have to be, oh, I have to try to force this connection so that somebody can buy from me. Regardless of whether or not this person buys from me, I can have a conversation with them about their needs. I can have a conversation with them about their wants. I can have a conversation with them about their desires. Regardless of whether or not this person decides to work with me, at the end of the day, I can leave this conversation with a valuable understanding of my market, right? It's market research. I can leave this conversation with an even greater valuable understanding of my market, an even greater valuable understanding of women, or an even greater valuable understanding of who I want to work with. So if you're like me and you are signing clients and you're taking applications, or you are having conversations with women in the DMs, you're building out your community and you're having a conversation, you're meeting with somebody who it's like, this is not my ideal client. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So when you know that you don't want the woman that you just had a conversation with who wasn't committed to growth and expansion. She was dealing with this issue. She was looking at it in this way, and she had this kind of relationship with her money and finances. You know that that's not what you want. And so now you have the perfect thing to bounce off of for what do I want? I want a woman who has issues like this, or I want a woman who has the same issues, but she has a different relationship with her money. I want a woman who has the same desires, but she has a different relationship with her with her goals. She's more willing to show up. She's more committed to it. So there's a value that's available from just getting human connection. There's value that's available from just talking and speaking with another person. So when you're networking, you're not using somebody as a means to an end. The end is already done. You are building community. You're building community that's not just going to last you up until this next promotion. You're building community that's going to last you in the long haul. The example that I'm going to give you before we get off of here is Kamala Harris and Barack Obama. I don't remember what it was, maybe 2008, Kamala Harris worked with the Obamas in that campaign, and they probably did have different connections and different things like that. 2008 is nearly 20 years ago. So you work with somebody 20 years ago, you support somebody, you build connection with somebody 20 years ago. And of course, she's been doing this work far longer than 20 years. And then 20 years later, you're running for president, and the person that you supported in becoming president is now endorsing you. It's not necessarily that that's a calculated and planned move. It can just be the consequences of building community, of connecting with people and understanding that as human beings, we can support one another. We need to support one another, especially when we have causes that are as important as expanding civil rights, as protecting women's health, as, all of the different things that are going on in politics today. Okay. It's super important for me to build relationships and build connections with future business owners. Even though one woman that I just reached out to recently, I went to college with her and she just started a business. I'm like, I love connecting with women business owners. I don't know if she'll become one of my clients. I don't know if we'll ever work together. I don't know if we'll ever collaborate with one another. Her work and her business is with jewelry. It's not necessarily like there's a huge connection there between us, but who knows what's going to happen 20 years from now? Who knows what's going to happen 30 years from now? And at the end of the day, building connection with a fellow woman who's a business owner in a world where I think it's something like less than 2%, 3%, 1% of all women-owned businesses are making over $1 million, in a world where more women need more success, in a world where more women need to be supported by more successful women. Me having this connection with this woman is going to help her. It's going to support her. It's going to inspire her. It's going to do the same for me. And that connection gets to be enough of it. So it's not always that connection is going to serve you in getting to that promotion, but it's possible that that's going to be one of my best friends who is a fellow business owner who I'm going to be talking about business with and how things were back in the day, 30, 40, 50 fucking years from now. You know what I'm saying? So you get to be open in your interactions with people because you don't know where the interaction is going to take you. You don't know where the relationship is going to take you. You don't know how things are going to end for you, but you have this fundamental understanding that relationships make my life easier, that interdependence is the key to my success, that I am reliant on other people. Not reliant on other people like, I need you, please do this, please do this, please do this, please do this. I don't have to beg other people, but I understand that there's power in word of mouth. I understand that there's power in people knowing who I am and people willing to talk about me favorably in rooms that I've never walked into, right? That's networking. It's community. It's interdependence. It's not convincing. It's not begging. It's not, asking people, oh my God, I need you for a sale. It's just forming human connection. It's just understanding your fellow person. And that's easier to do when you are confident that your goal is yours. Now, if you're in a place where you don't feel confident that your goal is yours, you feel shaky, you feel insecure, you feel worried, you feel like it's taking way too long, you feel like your goals are impossible, you feel like none of this is working, and you just feel like, you just feel scared. It's hard to interact with people when in the back of your mind is, what if this doesn't work? How can I make this work? Am I going to get this? Are they going to like me? If they don't like me, then I'm not going to reach my goal, right? If you deal with that and you are ready to completely overcome those thoughts because you're ready to be the leader of your mind, the captain of your own internal ship and your reality and your business and whatever this goal is for you, then I highly, highly, highly recommend the I Can and I Should course. It's my self-esteem boosting course. Our self-esteem is what we believe that we can achieve, and it's made to help the committed woman, the professional woman, accomplish, achieve, and manifest her goals with more ease, speed, and enjoyment than ever before. It's a 6-module course. It's going to help you work on your relationship with your fear, your relationship with your insecurity, your relationship with what you believe that you are capable of achieving. You're going to work on your relationship with your goal. You're going to build confidence in your ability to achieve your goal. You're going to build confidence in your ability as a human being. It is an incredibly powerful course. I cannot recommend it enough. You can check it out and enroll right here and right now using the link in the description or the show notes, depending on where you're listening. I love you, and I will talk to you in the next episode.